Good morning. My name is Donna Marie Collins. This is a continuation of DCi 2024-00023 JBRA CPD. The case was continued today to allow staff and the applicant to consider changes to the request. I will administer the oath and we will get to presentations. Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony and evidence you give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, my name is Megan Strayhorn. I'm an attorney with Strayhorn and Persons Mullica here on behalf of the applicant from providing legal counsel. I do have a copy of the 48-hour packet that we have submitted, and I'll approach that with you. This includes the revised master concept plan, revised narrative, revised deviations. So moving forward here today, we have removed the two parcels located on South Street, which were proposed to be the commercial parking lot parcels, and we are only moving forward on the parcel located on the corner of San Carlos Boulevard and Main Street. We do have our full team present with us today, and before we get into the presentation, I would like to address some of the public comments that were addressed at our prior hearing in April. I will only respond to those comments which are germane and relative to the request before you today. This is an existing building. It formerly housed the Beach Bulletin. There have been some building permits, building plans submitted, as well as LDO application that has been submitted to rehabilitate the building and make improvements on that site. Prior to these plans being submitted, our internal team did not have an opportunity to review these building permits, or building plans, I should say. However, fortunately, staff was able to rectify the situation and identify the situation. Now those building plans have been submitted and are in a pending status as a result of this current rezoning request. The intention for this commercial plan development, although this parcel is already zoned commercial and therefore has a myriad of schedule of uses that would be permitted there, is to put a package store. And as a result, we have this public hearing to flesh out and make any conditions necessary, since there are residences within 500 feet. So with us today, I will turn it over to our expert. We have Patty Kulak here. I will note for the record that our experts have already been deemed experts in their respective fields as part of this hearing, and we are all under oath. Thank you.
Good morning, Patty Kulak with RVI. As you heard, we have changed the request. We have removed the commercial parking lot component from the request, so the CPD and the boundaries of such will just be the property that is already existing, which will be the 284,000 square foot package store. So doing that property overview, the acreage of the site has decreased with the removal of the parking lot, bringing the site acreage down to 0.06. We will be reusing the former building that still stands on site. Property still within the urban community, future land use, and C1 zoning is the current zoning that we are requesting to change to the CPD. The zoning request, as you'll see, now only includes the property shown on the screen. We're still not expanding the building footprint nor the height. We are maintaining the two access points onto Main Street, and with the reduction in request, this did also reduce the number of deviations. So from the previous presentation, deviation number 4 was removed, and along with number 8, 9, and 10, which were all specific to the parking lot parcels only. We went through the lead plan consistency with our last hearing, but it is worth highlighting now that we've removed the commercial parking lot. We're still supporting the infill development in the urban community. There are adequate infrastructure and access to the site that has been maintained for entirety of its construction. We are compatible with the surrounding land uses and the transitional design between the commercial and the neighboring residential. And we are still maintaining green spaces and addressing the buffering. One change from The last request is we did add a new condition of approval that staff is in agreement with, which is a double hedgerow buffer in between the commercial lot and the commercial lot to the north, just to create some buffering between the two businesses. It will include a double hedgerow and along with some landscaping.
Okay, can we go back?
Absolutely.
I just have a question. Did you renumber the deviations on the master concept plan from the original application?
Yes,
So they go from 1 to whatever and they apply only to this plan?
correct.
Okay.
And we also, in your 48-hour package, every document has been changed. So the application has been updated to,
So
oh
it's
yeah,
on those submittals in connection with my recommendation.
absolutely. That 48-hour package has an updated application, a narrative that explains the transition from the first request to current day, and it does address any of the changes throughout any of the criteria that were necessary.
So even though I was listening very carefully when you did your original presentation on the deviations, if you could just touch on them quickly as we
I left
go
them all
through.
in for this exact purpose.
Okay.
So the first deviation is deviation number 1. That is the separation needed from residentially zoned property, but also a 100-foot separation needed from other businesses that have a liquor license. That would be the business directly to the north that does share a property line with us. And the justification for that was the neighborhood is already impacted by other businesses having liquor licenses within that 500-foot radius. We would not be increasing that other than our site would be in complements to those. So complements, not expansion. Staff does have a recommendation of approval with this condition with that new enhanced type A buffer that was added with this request. Deviation number 2 is the reduction in driveway separation required between driveway locations. That only pertains to Main Street. All 3 of these are existing. We are maintaining the ingress and egress points of the site for access. So these are there on site today. If you went out and viewed the property, you used one of these. Staff does recommend approval of this.
So there's 3 driveways?
No, there's 3 separations that are.
Oh, yes, okay, I understand.
The third deviation is the elimination of the required perimeter plantings on the building. We are utilizing the existing building, and the current building does not have access to have plantings along the frontages along Main Street or San Carlos Boulevard because of where the parking lot is. So we're going to maintain that buffer due to the existing constraints of the site. The drive aisle width, which is required to be 12 foot, we are asking for a reduction down to 8.5. And this is for the maneuvering of vehicles due to the angled parking. So a patron would come in, park, and when they reverse out, that the code requires a 12-foot width. The site only has 8.5 currently. We're asking to maintain that 8.5. Deviation number 5 is to allow the garbage trucks to back out of the refuge site, which is our dumpster location. The existing dumpster location is currently up towards the north property boundary. We were requested by the solid waste department to have it be moved down to the south. That way there is easier access onto Main Street for the reversal needed. And this is a recommendation of approval with the condition that it only applies to the solid waste.
So this allows the trucks to back out?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they be backing in though? I mean, to empty the dumpster?
Nope, because the trucks have the dumpster lift in the
Got it.
front, pulling in, lifting, and then maneuvering backwards. Nope.
Back to me.
Deviation number 6 is the elimination of a 15-foot type D buffer along the east and south property boundaries. Again, these are existing on site today. We're just asking to keep them current as we cannot change the site design to have them not be a buffer or a deviation. Staff does recommend approval, and it just has the condition that the pavement may not encroach into the green space. We're in agreement with that. Deviation number 7 is the required 100-foot separation on San Carlos Boulevard. We have it reduced down due to the existing points of egress on the site. We obviously can't locate those. And these were my backup slides. So then we'll go back to the decision-making criteria. We did review this in the first hearing, but it is worth mentioning for the continuation hearing. We do find that the use is appropriate for the location given the commercial corridor that we're in. We do have a few conditions of approval that staff has worked with us. We're all in agreement. All of the deviation staff is in agreement that these should be approved based on the site constraints that are there, and the added buffering on that north property line does create a little bit of the separation that was brought up at the last hearing as a request, not a requirement, but a request that we did comply with to create that nice separation for the two businesses. And then going through the LEED plan consistency, this does support the infill. It's a local business. We're reusing a building that's already on site, and we've reduced the scope to be as least intrusive to the neighborhood as needed in order for the business to be successful. So I will leave that as our conclusion that staff does recommend approval. We've worked with staff, we've listened to the public, we've made the recommendations that not only we've heard from staff, but also the concerns that were brought up previously by narrowing that scope and really focusing just on our package store site. And going through this morning, we did review that this is consistent with the land development code, it is compatible with the surrounding land use, and we just request your approval for the commercial plan development. Thank you.
Thank you. Is that it for applicant's presentation?
Yes, that's
Okay, thank you. Adam?
Yeah. Good morning, Madam Hearing Examiner, Madam Court Reporter. For the record, Adam Mendez. Not a whole lot for me to cover. That was a great summary of the project and also the changes that are here before you. I would like to just submit to you a couple handwritten captures of things to button up on the staff clean copy of conditions. Just two little minor remarks that I caught with a fresh set of eyes. So here it is on page, I believe it's 2 of 3, and I'll have a copy for the applicant as well.
Okay. Have you discussed this with applicant?
Yeah, I let them know this morning. So this is just, these are two minor things right here. So let's see, I give them my copy.
You can take that.
Deviation 5, I used the word existing. It should be exiting with respect to the vehicle backing out. And the deviation prior to that, deviation 4, thank you, is relative to that 8.5-foot parking aisle. And that should be approved subject to consistency with the exhibit that's in the staff report as attachment I, which will limit the scope of that deviation to exactly where it's needed, and it demonstrates its appropriateness. So attachment I in the staff report, I can actually show you what that looks like. It's right here in their deviation summary. This is attachment I. The staff report should be related to deviation 5 as a condition of approval. Those are the only two differences.
Wait. That's relating, wait. You mean deviation 4?
Sorry, deviation 4, good catch. Yeah. So those are my comments with respect to this. It's now been reduced to 0.26 acres for a 2,840 square foot package store and some other retail and business services uses. So staff's recommendation is approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the detail in the 48-hour letter, and I will probably not do another site visit to this site. I've already been there once. I have an idea of the lay of the land. Now that we're limited to essentially redeveloping an existing site, it's a much more straightforward request. I don't anticipate it will take long for me to complete my recommendation, and you can probably count on a final hearing before the board at their first zoning hearing in August.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there any, I didn't even ask, are there any members of the public here today?
Yes, I am.
Okay, would you like to speak, sir? Yes. State your name for the record.
Sure. John Zombeck. I live right behind the where
Yes, I
Parkland was
remember
gonna
you
be.
from the first
Yeah.
hearing.
Everything's great. They cleaned up that lot and everything, but they blew out the fence, so now commercial vehicles are driving from their construction zone through the park, through that lot onto South Street. So may I?
Yes.
So they cleaned this all up. They knocked down all this fencing, so now these vehicles are driving, whether it be any kind of truck, electricians, whatever, they're all using it as an access. Can that be refenced?
Well, not as part of this application. You can contact code enforcement. Well, speak to the applicant while you have them here, certainly.
I mean, it's not,
After
just
the
a minor
hearing.
thing, trying to slow things down.
Otherwise, if you want to inquire with code enforcement, whether that constitutes a violation of county codes, I don't know if it does or not, but
Okay.
hopefully you can have a conversation with them
Sure.
after the hearing
Yeah.
today, express your concerns.
Absolutely. That's the only thing.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Is there anything further you'd like to add for the record?
Nothing
Okay.
from applicant.
Thank you very much. I felt well prepared for this hearing initially, and I will get up to speed quickly on these changes. And like I say, I don't anticipate it'll take long for me to release a recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.